Katie, good morning to you. Take a step back, stop all engines.
Look, General Michael Flynn is one of the most respected intelligence analysts in modern times. Both sides of the political aisle respect him. He doesn't have an axe to grind. He's a professional. And if he says, stop all engines, have a second look at this, I'm going to pay attention and I'm going to listen. You know, the whole point of a deal with Iran was supposed to be that they were going to stop their nuclear program, that we were going to stop a nuclear arms race in the Middle East. That would happen if Iran got nukes, the other countries would all want nukes, and before you know it, everybody's got nukes in the Middle East. The deal that we're likely to get is not going to stop a nuclear arms race. It's going to accelerate one because the other countries in the region, forget what Obama says, forget what the Iranians say, the other countries in the region, they're looking at this deal and saying, this doesn't stop Iran's nuclear program. We need to get our own
If you believe that's the case, and what Flynn talked about was willful ignorance, is that what is at play here? Almost as if you're putting on blinders to what's happening around the world and the region. I mean, look, he ticked it off. Yeah. North Africa, Middle East, West Africa, Central Asia. All this was not changing when negotiations began. And it has significantly in the last 2 years.
And now the whole region's on fire. I'm not going to decide what the motives of the Obama administration are. They seem very, very eager for a deal, any deal, as their legacy to the Obama administration. But I look at the region and say, we are now witnessing a Shiite-Sunni civil war that's going to go on for 30 years. It's the Sunnis who are the Arabs, who are Saudi Arabia. On the other side, you have Iran, who are the Shiites, who are the Persians. They've been fighting each other for thousands of years. Even before the advent of Islam, they're going to continue to fight. My worry is that what the Iran nuke deal does, it puts nuclear weapons into this civil war.
And what an equation that is. On the screen, the chart that our brain room put together at the end of last week. It's a mangled mess, and it's very confusing, but you can pick it apart and make it simple, can't you?
Look, it's actually even more confusing than that map shows because each of those countries has a lot of subgroups within it. But the bottom line is that this is a two-party fight. It's going to go region to region, tribe to tribe. It's going to be extremists and modernizers. But at the bottom of it, it's Shiites versus Sunnis. This is the civil war within Islam.
Well, in the meantime, only in that case, you have Israel in the middle of all this, too, right? And you have a U.S. Congress that's now debating whether or not they should come to Israel's assistance. Yet on Friday, out of Geneva, the United Nations adopted 4 resolutions that condemned Israel, which is 4 times more than any of the other 192 members of the United Nations. That's more than North Korea. Yeah. That's more than Iran. That's more than Syria. You have Syria with some reports of 100,000 civilians killed in the last 3 years. And yet the UN is going after Israel.
You know, the UN has always been a bash Israel society, and the United States has always stood by Israel and stopped the United Nations at every step when they've tried to take resolutions and take actions to hurt Israel. The question now becomes, Israel has stepped up to say, you know, this Iran nuke deal doesn't help the region, and it sure doesn't help us. So the question is, where is the president going to respond? Is he going to continue to do what Americans have always done, which is to have Israel's back at the United Nations, or is he, as the administration has said, reconsidering things?
What's your guess?
I think he's reconsidering things, and a lot will depend on the nuke deal, and will Iran give any concessions at all, and how is it received not only by the Arabs in the region, by the other countries in the region, but by the Israelis and by the United States. The president wants this deal, and I do think it's willful blindness. He thinks he's going to be Richard Nixon going to China. I'm worried that he's Neville Chamberlain going to Munich.
Katie McFarland, thank you.